Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back with part 2 of this video about my idea for Disneyland Italy or Disneyland Italia. So I talked about in part 1. Please check that out if you haven't done so and look out for part 3. Talked about how I want to copyright the idea, protect the idea as much as possible, and how hopefully my goal will be, 1, to be proud of the idea, 2, to benefit town football, including financially with investment, to buy football pitches and all that, but mainly to yield results. So like Italian teams will hopefully improve and win more trophies and all that through practicing more. So that's the main plan. And also, I suppose Disney would hopefully benefit, so they'll be more interested in working on the idea. So that's what I covered in part 1. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk about ideas with enthusiasm. And I've seen other YouTubers talking about their favourite football club or whatever, like Newcastle fans or whatever, Man United fans and all that. And I wish I could communicate as well as them. And like someone who talks about Newcastle and goes through a list of those sorts of ideas, and I wish I could have that sort of enthusiasm, but I suppose my nerves probably show through. But anyway, hopefully I'll do a good video, talk about a good video, make a good video for you today, and a few more. And I'm hoping to talk about my idea for like a Red Bull thing in the future as well, Red Bull Italia as well. So anyway, I think that covers the intro. So on to the list, number 11. I hope like to think about anything that I suppose there are unforeseen things that might occur. So for instance, I might think, oh, the idea is going to work in this way, and then something comes up that you don't expect, an additional cost or some problem. So I hope to like sort of address those things, and hopefully with Disney, if they take this idea on board, as I say, I don't plan to make any profit at all from it. If I did, I'd give that money to Italian football. I'm not really materialistic, so it doesn't really bother me if I make that much money, as long as I have enough to live on, whatever. So I used to want to make a lot of money, and I've talked about that before. But so hopefully I'll convey that idea to Disney, that really it's just to benefit Italian football and to feel proud about coming up with an idea, and the profits will be at least half theirs. So hopefully from their experience of setting up such theme worlds or things like that, they will know what it takes, what the costs are, what the potential rewards are, and they'll be able to assess whether the idea is worth it and perhaps do the research. They'll have the budget and other such things. So I don't have that business experience, but I do have ideas. And I like to think that these are my dyslexic creative ideas. So yeah, so think about any new changes that could happen. I also hope to think about infinite possibilities. What could the idea develop into? Like, let's say Disney say, "Oh, this is a great idea. We'll develop one in Milan, or at least we'll test market, and we can afford to take a loss if it doesn't work out. But we'll set up one in Milan, Disney World Italia, and that will be in Milan or something like that. Let's say, and then." Let's say the idea hopefully it kicks off and they get loads of people around the world who are interested in football or want to take their families or whatever, want to get their families into football, and they want to buy them memorabilia. And also possibly for those who are not in football, it could have a sort of thing about Disney and their memorabilia, although I suppose the argument could be that if that was the case, you would rather just go to Disney World if that was the case. But obviously if you're in Italy as well, that's another thing, like we can look at new different avenues of people. Like for instance, those who are in Italy anyway for a holiday could say, we weren't thinking of going there, but since we're there, we might as well go and visit this place, and it could be a famous monument. So who knows the possibilities. And also so if it works there, then they could start with one and then develop and then have ones in every single city or every single town, hopefully, and then obviously look at like television rights or any other things that sort of Disney looks at with its other businesses. And hopefully my ideas as a dyslexic person are very creative and positive in a good way. And I don't know if positive can be in any other good way. But anyway, so but yeah, apparently Disney was, I don't know what evidence there is for this, but they say Disney was dyslexic as well, Walt Disney. So maybe like Disney could talk about whether that's true or not. I know because there's like Bella Thorne, a Disney actress or former Disney actress, who's probably gone to mainstream now. She did talks about being dyslexic, so maybe Disney could do stuff about Walt Disney being dyslexic, if that's true, or any evidence for or against or for such. Anyway, so yeah, I hope to look at what could be achieved, what new things could happen, and things like that. Number 12. I think like markets of who could be interested in this, as I say, it could be families, people, obviously mainly it would be people into football, people who want to see Italian football do better, people who are interested in Serie A, and again maybe they could bring in people from other leagues like Disney could pay them, it would have a budget probably to pay people from Germany or England or anywhere else to come and do signed autographs or whatever. But hopefully, as an Italian football fan, hopefully I'll copyright this idea and it will benefit, because I want it to benefit Italy, because I'm an Italian football fan. So, but yeah, so maybe there'll be markets we didn't even think about, like I don't know, like dyslexic people who are like interested in finding out whether Disney was dyslexic actually, or whether there's any evidence for such and things like that. Number 13, I know there are lots of challenges, like for instance, my punctuation, how I express this idea, and again, unforeseen costs or things like that. And maybe Disney will think the idea sucks or whatever, I don't know. But and also, like, so I don't want to criticize obviously Disney when I want their help, but some people might not think there's ethical. And also, I'm sure there was something I was going to say, but I can't quite remember. Yeah, so there are people who don't like the commercialization of football, so that could be an issue. But hopefully, we'll work around those issues. 14, I know it would mean if this happened, obviously, I'd have to always be positive about Disney. I suppose I always have to, but maybe that's from their benefit as well. But yeah, I hope to look at like problems facing Italian football and how to improve them. Hopefully, this will really help Italian football in all possible ways. And maybe people could send in their ideas about how to improve Italian football, how to improve Serie A or even the national team or things like that, especially people from Italy itself, obviously, I imagine, or people from the diaspora. I imagine if you're not an Italian football fan, you probably won't want to send ideas. And also, like, people could send ideas to Disney itself about how they can improve the theme park. And maybe it won't all be about football, I don't know. I'd like it to be all about football, like, because I only support Italy for football, so I'd love it to be like where you have penalty shootouts with footballers and things like that. But there could be other ways. Again, Disney would always have probably the bulk of the decisions, because they would know whether they're going to be the ones hopefully put the money in. So hopefully they will work out whether it's worth it for them, what's worth it for them, how they can improve the idea, what's commercially viable, basically, what's going to be most cost effective, what's going to make them the most money. Of course, they're a business; they're going to want to do that. Number 15, again, my goals are feel proud about my idea to benefit Italian football, and of course, as I say, as a side thing, for those two things to work, it's probably going to have to be a financial benefit, because if it's a flop in that way, then obviously my idea wasn't that good, and it really did suck and struggle from a business point of view, and also obviously Disney are not going to want to carry on with something that's losing them money. Maybe Italian politicians could give them tax losses or things like that to encourage them, because they'll be creating jobs and helping the Italian football team. Again, that can help possibly with confidence in the economy in other ways as well. And so again, lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I hope obviously the idea will make as much money as possible. Maybe my fellow dyslexics could also help the idea, because they can be proud that a dyslexic person came up with this. Number 16, again, hope for people to send in ideas about what they would like to see, what changes could be made, what could be improved, if and when. Obviously, if that would rely on it getting up off the ground, or what people think of the idea, and whether they'd be willing to go to travel to. I mean, it's difficult because a lot of people might say they're willing to go, but then it depends if they are actually willing to go. Obviously, it'll probably cost a lot to develop. Again, if they test market, if Disney's obviously, I'm sure, worth billions. So I mean, if they test market in a part of Milan and it costs them a few million, they can afford to take that loss and say we gave it a go, and maybe from that get other ideas or something like that, or something positive come from it. But if it goes really well, they can develop it, and obviously if they make money from Milan, they might try it in other areas in Italy again, in every possible city or even town, village, county. I don't think Italy has counties, but anyway, village, town, or whatever. And the idea again, they can afford to take risks on their budget, so they can afford to say we can take a bit of a loss in some areas. Some areas might not make as much as others. So hopefully they'll all make money, would be my goal anyway, and hopefully they'll benefit Italian football. Number 17, I hope to use my imagination and perhaps think of new ideas in the future and hear from other people's ideas as well. Sorry if this video is very long. I'm going to try and get through this because I don't want the video to be too long, as I often say. Number 18, hopefully my enthusiasm will show through, and Disney and others will be really passionate about the idea and really want to go and visit these places and think. Like, there could be new games made, I thought, as well, like for instance football basket, where you try and kick the ball from the ground up into the net, or like someone kicks into you and then you volley it into the net. People who know about football probably know what I'm talking about, hopefully. Or like somewhere like football tennis, where you mix football with tennis. I know a lot of people probably already made games like this, but like challenges and see, and like you can compete with your friends or even other people and see who comes up best. Maybe there could be prizes that could be won. And again, Disney could develop the idea, and obviously they if people pay like a certain amount of money, maybe like it costs a tenner to play, and the winner gets half the money that's invested. So if 1,000 people play, that's 10,000, and then the winner gets 5,000. Disney gets the other half, or gets 2,500, and then Stanford will get the other 2,500 or something like that. So it could be things like that that could be developed again. It could be it could grow. 19. I know when I talk about the idea, as one of my cousins told me, God bless him, that everything works in your head. He always used to lecture me about getting a job or about all these ideas I come up with, so, which is fair enough. Obviously, he was one of the best for me, and saying like, I've got to think about it better, which is again fair enough. But he was saying like everything sounds good in your head, but when you put it into practice, it's not always as good. So who knows what for? Hopefully, it'll be better than predicted, but it could be not as good, unfortunately. But we'll have to see how it goes. And number 20, I know that's like I want it to happen like yesterday, so to speak, or as soon as possible, but it might take 5 to 10 or even more years. And again, if they develop it, it could always be a flop, unfortunately, hopefully not. But if they develop it in like Milan, as I could talk about, or Turin or wherever else, where they want to start, possibly even working with partnerships like Fiat or companies that already, or football teams themselves like Juventus and Milan, AC Milan, Inter Milan, or whatever. And because it's for Italy, hopefully even rival clubs or the Milan as a city will get behind it as well, or Turin or whatever, even rival teams. But hopefully it would benefit all of Italian football. That's my goal. Again, similar things could happen for Celtic, like in Glasgow. Again, the SNP or politicians could support it and look into what the possibilities are, how to create jobs, and tackle unemployment, tackle homelessness, and all these sorts of things. But I know it's going to take a while, and I know that again it could be a flop, and then or it might take longer. Like they might develop one. It might take. I'd be very shocked if it took a short amount of time to develop these Disneyland or Disney World football-related theme parks or activities in every possible city or town or village. That would probably take many years. I'm sure it would take 5 to 10 years. Unfortunately, I'd love it to happen in 1 year, and obviously I'd love it to work. But anywho, I'm going to end the video now because I don't want it to go to the unlucky 13 minutes. But as ever, I'd love to know your comments. And sorry if it's long. Peace and love. I'm out.